Jesus.
Yeah. So in my head, it's already playing. You know,
What is that?
the theme song for Drive to
It
Survive.
goes like that, man.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive.
Oh no lah, that's the F1 theme song. But it's
F1
it's,
got theme song?
God.
I've never, to be fair, I've never watched F1. No, not never.
Yeah.
That sounds like a video game. Okay, play the song.
Cannot lah.
Gonna copyright straight
We
away.
should be able. It'll be a shame, man.
No, you know what song is playing or not?
No, we invert it and we play it.
You know what song is playing in my head or
Yeah,
not? Our theme song, bro.
Okay, so you wanted to talk a lot about Drive Survive. That's all I've been listening to. All I can hear from you. Oh, I'm saying this in a very weird way, but all I've been hearing from you have been how great Drive to Survive is. So what's the big deal?
That's literally not what I have that's literally not what I have said at all at any point in time. No, but Drive to Survive is good. It's good because it got me back into F1. So last time as a kid, like I used to follow F1 because like racing car, wow, cool. And then my sister loved F1.
Is it?
Yeah, she loved F1. She really followed Kimi. Kimi was her
already a bit
favorite driver.
later. Already. Your sister quite much older than us, right?
Yeah, when he started racing, she really liked it because Leng Zai ma,
Yeah.
blue eyes.
Kimi Raikkonen Leng Zai ah.
What the fuck? Have you not
Iceman.
seen young Kimi Raikkonen?
He looks
Look,
like
look, this is young Kimi Raikkonen.
So
he's like-
I'm thinking of like old Kimi Raikkonen, which is
Oh
like
lah, that
rough,
uncle
tough.
already.
Like I think he's like an attractive guy, but like
You think he's
I
an
don't
attractive
imagine
guy?
a young girl thinking Kimi Raikkonen is good looking lah. You know what I'm trying to say? He's like
No.
a man's man, you know, like somebody that a man would be attracted to.
No, he's like as a kid. No, when he first joined, he really looked like Sankai Zai.
What's Sankai
I've
Zai?
never used that term.
What is that? What does that mean?
It's like a very green kid lah. Like just come out of school kind of kid. Because he was so young when he was in Renault. Renault blah. Petronas. Sauber.
McLaren lah,
Sauber.
McLaren.
Sauber.
Oh, Sauber.
He was in Sauber.
Yeah, dude, he look like schoolboy. This guy look like Dota champion from Norway or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
then,
I get it. Yeah.
When he went to McLaren, then he in the silver suit and everything. I guess so lah. But then because she supported Raikkonen, then me being the younger sibling, I was also like, yeah, go Raikkonen. But he also then charm lah. To be fair, So I always rooted for him because he was the underdog.
Why were you such a hipster even when you were a kid?
No, I love. What you don't like underdog stories?
So when I was a kid, right, I started watching it with Michael Schumacher,
Oh
Ferrari.
my God.
But it got a bit boring.
Yeah,
but I was
'cause
like,
you kept
Ferrari
winning.
fan, right? Tifosi. So it's like, who did I support? I supported Rubens Barrichello, which was like also pretty
Dude,
boring.
that is like supporting Checo Perez right now.
yeah, but eventually I started supporting Felipe Massa, which was quite interesting. It was
Again?
like- no, he didn't win.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't win. But he was not number 2. He was number 1. So it was just supporting Ferrari. I've always been a Ferrari fan. I'm still a Ferrari fan today.
How is he number 1?
He was number 1 Ferrari driver lah at one point.
When?
After
who?
Schumacher retired. He was a number 1 and number 2 is somebody. He almost won the world championship. It was
really?
him against
Yeah,
Hamilton.
yeah.
Then he actually won it until in the last lap. I remember Timo Glock from Toyota at that time. He supposedly had an engine failure, and then Hamilton go one step up, won the title, and it was fucking ridiculous. I remember thinking like that was when I stopped watching F1.
But to be no, see, so what happened then was Timo Glock, as he was driving, right? Then suddenly the race engineer came over. The check has cleared. Oh, okay. Sir, please go on.
When did you stop watching F1? Like before you got back into it because of Drive to Survive?
I stopped, I think, just around the time where it was like Vettel. I
what
stopped
team?
watching
Red Bull.
When he just started winning,
It
I
was
stopped.
so boring.
I
He
stopped
won
watching.
like 4 years in a row, I think, and Red Bull won 4 constructors in a
Then
row.
after that was Hammy all the way, right?
Yeah.
So
Hammy, is that what people call him?
Isn't that what people call him?
No, dude.
What do people call him?
Lewis Hamilton.
He's always Hammy to me. Hammy, Kimi.
7 years in a row, Lewis Hamilton won until Verstappen lah.
Yeah lah. So he won so many times, and then so I didn't watch that until I think Drive to Survive. Also, I didn't start from season 1.
What season did you start?
I started. What are you doing?
I'm googling this story that I want to tell you.
We're busy in the middle of a shoot. Stop texting.
I'm not texting. I'm looking for something interesting to tell you.
Clearly texting.
No. Netflix bought over. But never mind. Fucking like girlfriend. Right?
Yeah lah. Hey, pay attention to me. You know?
Keep going. Yeah.
So I think I started watching the year. When was it? It was either the year just before Verstappen won or the year that Verstappen won. So that was what, 2021, 2020.
Verstappen won like the last 2 seasons, long, and the first of those were the
2022. 2021, both he won, right?
Yeah.
I think I started watching around. I started really following.
2020.
By really following, I mean watching all the highlights after every race, lah.
You still don't watch, right?
I don't watch the race because number one, I have no
Just watch on
legit
illegal
way
stream.
to watch. We don't advocate for illegal streaming.
No lah, not illegal
because-
stream. Stream sharing. But why don't you
Why
follow
you
it?
never stream on Discord for me to watch?
It's illegal, dude.
Oh, that one illegal lah.
I was quite heavily into F1 when I was in like primary school with Schumacher and stuff. Then I stopped around the same time as you did. Well, basically when Massa lost, and then it started to be very dominated by Red Bull. It became very boring. I started losing track of who the racers were, and I always felt like these racers were like bots, right, of each other. There was Mika Häkkinen, there was Kimi Räikkönen, and then there was another
What do you mean bots?
like they are all like regens of each other. You know what I mean?
Regens of each other.
Then eventually I stopped, but then I saw it on Netflix one day, right? Drive to Survive. So I saw season 1 and I was like, I'm not really into documentaries and I'm no longer into F1. I'll give it a go. And I got into it and I think I cleared like the season in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Best show ever. But at the same time, it actually got me back into the actual sport.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was because it serves as like a very nice like recap. So that means I'm pretty sure I watched the 2021 and then that made me want to follow the 2021 season. So I was like, oh, okay, you know. So I was like watching it as a recap and then but then to be fair, so this year's Drive to Survive, which came out last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I think a week before race weekend, which is this last weekend.
Intentionally lah, yeah.
So that one was not bad, but the one before that, yes lah, a bit over dramatized. Like they were like trying so hard to manufacture like rivalries. Like they would take like this serious face and then they take another serious face from a different day and then they sort of like stage it together, you know. But again, that was nice. I think I also watched the one where they did like the one who's the guy whose car caught fire? Was it Grosjean?
Sebastian Grosjean, yeah.
What did you call him?
Sebastian Grosjean.
I'm pretty sure his first name is not Sebastian.
Roman Grosjean.
Like the vegetable.
Roman Grosjean,
Yes.
yeah.
So he became like, you know, burnt vegetable.
Yeah.
But that was like, cause that was like so epic, right? That crash. I was like, holy shit! I didn't know F1 cars could do that.
But very rarely
nowadays.
lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like so safe, right? Like every time you see the F1 cars crash, right? Like all the wings and the wheels and everything will fly off, but then the cockpit is always still steady. One. This one, the whole thing went in half. And then I watched like the clip on YouTube from the Netflix drama. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? See, I call it a drama, not documentary.
Yeah,
and I was
dude,
like,
that's
what
the thing.
Then I had to watch it lah. So then I started watching it, and then that really got me into it. But did you watch this season already?
I'm like maybe 3 episodes in. So what's really interesting is that Drive to Survive, right, is so much more of a drama than it is a documentary that even my wife, who is like totally not into like motorsports, not into any sports at all.
It took you 9 minutes and 22 seconds to mention
So
your wife.
she's really not into like motorsports at all. But even she has started watching Drive to Survive with me. What's really, really interesting here is because I remember reading this a while back, but we have to fact check this. We never do. But what I heard is that what I heard is that basically F1 was going really downhill at one point. Same reason why people like me and you left, because it's like it's
Boring,
always
huh?
the same shit, right? And what happened was that eventually an entertainment company bought over the rights or bought over F1 from I think Bernie Ecclestone. Remember it was Bernie Ecclestone, one of that guy, like that old man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know
so
Bernie.
an entertainment company bought them over and they implemented this strategy to like kind of rejig it and stuff like that. And it's become a lot more of an entertainment medium than it was like a motorsport medium. Part of their strategy has been
Isn't
to
all
push.
motorsport entertainment though?
Yeah, correct. But it's still seen as a sport. They don't manufacture things for the views. But part of their strategy was to engage this production company to do Drive to Survive. It has clearly been very effective. I think I read like an article on, I don't know whether it was The Guardian or something that talked about how instrumental Drive to Survive has been in the rebirth, not the rebirth, but like the resurgence of like F1.
Especially among American viewers. American viewers.
That's why they even now are going to have like a Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Already? Last year?
No, that was Miami. They're going to have Las Vegas soon.
Wait, was it not both Miami and Vegas last year?
No Vegas.
Or this year only Vegas?
I don't know if it's this year or what, but it's about to come. So it became a very, very heavy thing, and everyone was a little bit like, okay, this is good. Interest is coming up again. People started to watch F1 again. People started taking before this, like everyone only knows Hammy, as you say. Maybe like Max Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen's still in there. Fernando Alonso has come back. But what they actually did, I think, was go a little bit too far. So if you watch Drive to Survive, in certain seasons, you don't see certain racers at all. If you notice, before season 4, I think Ferrari were never on it.
They boycott, ma.
Correct.
Yeah.
At one point, you never saw Lewis Hamilton on it.
Max also, I think.
Max up to like this season didn't. So they felt that it was like very. I mean, of course, ultimately these are not actors, right? They're not in a reality TV show. And like I think a big example of this was like Max and Daniel Ricciardo in the first season. They made them out to be like he was trying to fuck him up the ass, trying to get him out of Red Bull. But they were actually quite friendly. It was like a friendly rivalry. You know what I mean? It was never personal. But Netflix like kind of manufactured that rivalry, the animosity. And that's already one problem. But then, of course, this all climaxed during the was it the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale between Max and
in 21.
Max and Lewis. And of course, this is not Netflix's fault or the production team's fault, but many people saw it as kind of like the climax of this whole push towards entertainment rather than motorsports, right? Where at the end of the race, let's not go into the technicalities of it, but you know the problem, right?
You mean the F1 or the Drive to Survive?
One and the same.
No, because Drive to Survive they barely touched it.
No, what I mean is that...
whereas in the actual race, it was a lot more dramatic, I feel. Because then there was all the radio comms like, no, you can't do this! You can't do this!
Michael, it's not right! But yeah.
Oh, I love Toto, man. He's so funny. He only sounds like a wounded animal on the radio.
It's a German thing, lah. Yeah.
He's German?
He's German, yeah. Oh, it's Austrian. Same thing, lah. No, so it's not like... I'm not saying it's like Drive to Survive's fault. What I'm saying is that Drive to Survive is part of a clear strategy from the new or the fairly new owners of F1 to push F1 towards entertainment, to get younger viewers back involved, to get the middle class back involved and not have this as a Lui Lang go dream Monaco. And another example of it where people were really unhappy is they felt that the organizers of F1 either pushed Michael Massey or maybe Michael Massey made the call on his own, but basically that climax of where they actually kind of like ignored the rules to give us the blockbuster finish that the season wanted. So do you know what actually happened for that last race? Why it was so controversial?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what was it?
But sure, you can let me know.
Exactly, for the benefit of those of you.
I mean, no, I don't know. We are very good at making podcasts.
Basically two more laps to go. Final lap would be obviously the most exciting way to end it would be to let them have it all out, right?
But were they like racing under normal conditions?
Oh yeah, so funny that you should say that.
Something else that was going on.
There was a safety car, right? There was a safety car. There were 4 cars in between Max and Lewis, right? Max pitted, which meant he had faster tires. He was on fresh
Max
soft tires.
Second?
Max was second. He
Why
pitted.
were there 4 cars between him and first?
So they were the back. they were the back grid guys, which means that they were 1 lap behind. So traditionally, under the rules, you either let everybody unlap themselves or you let no one unlap themselves. But what Michael Massey, the race director, which is essentially the referee of F1, do, what Michael Massey did was he said, for the 4 cars between Max and Lewis, unlap yourself. Meaning get out of the way to lap Max. Have a go at Lewis. And by that time, Lewis didn't pit for new tires because Lewis, like, long story short, that was not the right... He didn't expect that to happen. And it was a ridiculously entertaining thing for us as neutrals. As a Max, I'm not really a Max fan, but I was rooting for Max. It was so good to watch, but at the same time, I just felt like this is becoming a farce. This is like WWE. You know what I mean?
No, so what I gathered from that is that Latifi was a paid actor. If you think about it.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
Like Timo Glock lah.
Exactly. So it just came full circle. No, but actually, speaking of that Timo Glock one where he won by like a few points only, right?
Marginally.
He also lost a championship to Raikkonen, right? by 1 point or something like that. Because he was
Ferrari,
when Raikkonen won his only
Yeah.
freaking world title, it was like he finished the race already, then he didn't know whether he won or not. They were waiting. Oh, is he gonna finish higher? I think it was like higher than 7th or something like that.
Yeah.
And then because it was him, I think it was Alonso also.
Yes,
and
Alonso
Hamilton.
Ferrari too,
The
yeah.
three of them were like vying for the championship. It was so funny. So yeah, I mean, it's always been, to me, it's always been like an entertainment product lah, you know.
But it shouldn't be though. That's the thing. It's a sport. Like they are sportsmen. It's become like a real entertainment. And yes, it's true. More people are into it. Like we are sitting here talking on our podcast, which is technically genre what, culture and
Society,
and we're talking about we're talking about F1 just because Drive to Survive has been so like it's gone across so many boundaries to people who are not into motorsports. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also think that the highlights channel is doing a great job. Because otherwise I have no way to watch it, dude.
Dude, why don't you just watch it on like online on streams?
Tuhan.
It's actually quite entertaining
It's
to
very
have in the
boring
background
lah.
while you do
Actually,
other things.
the actual race is very boring because the main reason why F1 was so exciting last time was because the V10s, dude, the screaming V10s. Oh, that one.
But
is
F1
like
is supposed to
crazy.
be like the frontier of like automotive engineering. So they wanted it to be like pushing like
If it was the frontier of automotive engineering, then they should make it, you know, no holds barred, don't need so many
but
rules.
they're trying
Like,
to
what's
push
the
like
rules for
green
what?
energy and things like that. So they're all on hybrids. You know they're all hybrids, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's part of it lah. Now they're on V8s, V8s, right?
not V6.
V6, I think. Maybe lah. We only watch Drive to Survive. We don't know this nonsense, but yeah.
And the highlights, yeah. No, but the thing that was exciting for this year is because if you watched Drive to Survive later on, when they had that Alonso episode where they had the whole, you know, the driver shuffle, where Alonso from Alpine went to Aston Martin,
yeah.
and then Alpine was like, "Fuck, we don't have a driver."
I haven't seen
Then
that
it's
part
like,
yet.
I'm
but
gonna
yeah.
grab.
Oscar Piastri, is it?
Then Oscar was like, excuse me, no, thank you, because Oscar was gonna drive for McLaren. What a fool, though.
He finished last, right?
He retired.
He retired.
Yeah, he retired, and then he wanted to drive for McLaren. So then they didn't have a driver, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" And then I think there was one scene where it was like Alonso was sitting in the interview, the hot seat, right? He was just like, "Well, you know, I've always been the bad guy, and we need a bad guy, so I am the bad guy." He smiles at the camera. Oh, like I never liked him when I used to watch him as a racer, but
Why?
now I don't know. He's so interesting now because he
I
was
love
like very,
him, man.
he was like very like. I can't remember. I think it was like very Yong Sui last
I
time.
mean, he's a cunt. He's a cunt,
yeah.
but he's
But-
what the sport needs.
But now he's an uncle, so like I like the fact that he's like an old guy and he's still like such a good driver. Like when he overtook Hamilton in the first race in Bahrain, right? Yeah, so awesome, man.
yeah.
So good.
Got a podium finish as
So
well.
good. Yeah. From like freaking what 7th, 8th? Because he got like
I think he started
thing,
in 5th,
But
yeah.
the funniest thing was at the at turn 4 when Lance Stroll hit him.
Lance Stroll is just the definition of
Dude,
Pai
that
Zai.
guy is like so.
Pai
if-
Zai.
I tell you, because at the end of the race, he was like, "Oh, you know, Lance is my hero, right?" I tell you, if that turn 4 cornering was a little bit harder, he will climb out of the car and beat the guy.
Why is Lance his hero? Because he's racing with
I
a
don't
wrist,
know.
wrist problem, broken wrist.
I think so, yeah.
Tough injury.
Yeah, but I mean, good effort for him, lah. The car must be crazy if a driver like him can be so high up.
Lance Stroll? Lance
Yeah.
Stroll has always had a fair bit of pace,
Really?
despite his reputation as a Pai Zai. He's not been as bad as like Mazepin.
Oh my god.
Nikita
yeah.
Mazepin.
Yeah.
He's not even as bad as fucking Mick Schumacher.
Dude, Mick Schumacher.
Another
damn
guy
kasihan,
racing
man.
off his name.
The guy damn kasihan. No, apparently he was good. He's just a very slow learner. That's what people keep telling me. Because he won like freaking F2.
So
F3.
difficult to learn, man. We also can go to nothing. F1
You
actually
want to try
easy.
it? Would you, like, if you had an opportunity, would you go and drive
Of
an F1
course.
car?
What? You
Really?
wouldn't? Yeah.
I don't know. It
Apparently, it's
seems,
very difficult.
yeah, like
Like, it's
because
like-
you have to be going fast to get any grip.
Yes.
And it's like there was this video where they were like trying to do like the brake pressure. So they were like, okay,
watched
now
it too.
stop on the brake as hard as you can. Okay, you achieved 20% brake pressure.
And they would
What
say,
the
good
fuck?
job. Yeah. It's
That was, like,
crazy.
damn
It's
funny.
crazy. You
That was
wouldn't
damn
go.
funny.
You wouldn't try.
I probably would, yeah.
Who wouldn't? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime opportunity,
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But you know, actually, my favorite thing about Drive to Survive is the sound design. I think like that's insane. Like if you ever watch like the actual race, they all sound like freaking vacuum cleaner one, right? Or they also ever since they entered the turbo hybrid, they've always sounded like freaking vacuum cleaner.
They don't have that presence anymore. Yeah.
But then if you hear the sound design for the Drive to Survive series, it's like it's like it's guttural.
It's true.
You know,
it's true.
and that sounds crazy.
But that's just because they do a lot of work in post production. But again, that's why Drive to Survive is so big.
It's probably most of it is fake or like recorded
definitely
samples.
is fake. Yeah,
and
they layer it and stuff like that.
But it sounds so good. Like if the real broadcast could sound this good, I think I would watch it.
No, but that's like saying you don't want to watch documentaries, you rather watch a movie. Because if you watch a documentary,
what the fuck? Have you heard any David Attenborough documentaries?
No.
Bro, that one, the sound is like insane.
If you watch Lion King versus watching
Which
a
one, the
documentary,
cartoon or
the
the
real,
Childish Gambino
the
one?
live, Childish Gambino's in Lion King.
He's the Lion King. He's Simba.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch it.
Oh my god!
But
and I think his mom was Beyonce, or was it Nala?
Is it?
One of them was Beyonce. Dude, did you watch the show?
No, I didn't watch the show.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I don't watch children's
I
shows.
love Childish Gambino. I love Donald Glover.
Yeah. Well,
But
why? Because Parks and Recreation. Hey, Community.
What the fuck? Community is the best.
I find it quite lame.
It's the best fucking show, man. Like every few years, or like every few. Actually, I don't even think it's every few years. I think every year I will watch once, and then I will get like something else from it. Like it's so deep and like meaningful. What's your fucking favorite sitcom then?
I used to have quite a few that I would consider my
you say
absolute
Friends,
favorite.
right?
No, it was
Just
my
leave.
wife's son is Friends.
What the fuck?
I think.
Wait, how old is your wife?
My age, 31.
How does she like Friends? As
guess-
a 31-year-old.
I think it's just like a nostalgia thing because she used to watch it a lot growing up.
God, I hate Friends.
I think for me, yeah,
it's not funny at all.
I guess it's nostalgia.
Two problems. Number one, that show did not age very well. Number two, it's a laugh track show, dude.
But laugh track show, okay. Yeah, leave it to you to not like laugh track shows. I'm not a huge fan of
What
laugh
the
track shows,
fuck?
but all American sitcoms were laugh track shows back then.
All American sitcoms were
Mostly, yeah.
back then.
Back
yeah,
then
lah,
lah,
of
back
course
then,
lah.
yeah.
That's because they needed to tell you, oh, now laugh.
I think one of my
fuck?
favorite shows, but it petered out towards the end, but maybe the first half of it was like Modern Family. A little bit more
Modern
recent.
Family,
Modern
yeah?
Family,
That's
maybe
not a laugh track show.
The first 5 or 6 seasons were amazing. How I Met Your Mother is still. I find it a bit too American sometimes, but I appreciate that it's very fresh. Their
How I
format.
Met Your Mother, right?
Yeah.
It's like Bitcoin like that. It's like started very low, then he went,
yeah,
really
yeah.
good, then it immediately crashed. Like the fucking final few seasons is really like they just lost the plot, you know?
Yeah, they were just pocketing a
All
paycheck.
the character growth gone.
Yeah.
All the fucking storytelling gone. All the pacing, the like, you know, the scene, the whole last season was one day.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
And then it turned into a whole like How I Met Robin instead.
Yeah, I was like so pissed off, man. Like that's how you're gonna end
So
it.
you were a fan of How I Met
Yeah,
Mother?
I was a huge fan, dude. I fucking loved it until
Yeah.
towards the end, I was just like, what the fuck
is
am
going
I
on,
watching?
right? Yeah.
Like Barney, especially, he showed like such good character growth, and he just defaulted back to like fucking.
I don't really understand why they did
Oh
that.
my God.
I think maybe they did that so that people will still be talking about it a few years later, like we are now.
Maybe yeah.
I
Even
think it was a shock
Robin,
move.
Robin was like she was so annoying. She was cool girl, and then when you learn more about her, she's annoying. And then after that, she sort of grew into like this, like oh okay, she's human again.
Yeah.
And then
You know who I hated the most in How I Met Your Mother is Lily. So it's like Lily was this selfish, underachieving fucking leech, honestly. Like
Who's she leeching off?
So she was with Marshall, and Marshall was like someone that grew all the way, and he didn't really let us down in his character development at the end of the day, right? He didn't even have that much to develop because he was already like a great guy from the start. Right, he was quite well rounded. He had his good career on path. He has very strong family values.
I
great
know
husband,
why.
great friend.
You like him because he's a lawyer, right?
No,
You like him because he's a
so
lawyer.
my wife always
right?
tells me that I remind her of Marshall. Actually, so when we were kids, right, and we started watching, everybody was like, "Oh, Ted is so cool." I mean, as a child, like, oh, because he's the main protagonist of the show, right? Like, oh, Ted. Then as you grow up, you realize that actually the two main protagonists of the show were Barney and Marshall. They were the ones that you could not replace them with other actors as well. George Reitner, who was Ted, Robin, theoretically, I mean, I don't know exactly, but you could replace them with other actors and you could see another guy doing a good job. I think NPH, obviously, for Barney, it goes without saying. Marshall, maybe less so, but also it was quite, what's his name already? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, what's his name, the actor? only two of them went on to actually become real actors in movies and things like that.
What do you mean?
Who else? Robin
Ah.
in MCU as an extra.
Exactly. What
Just
do you
as
mean
a person.
extra, bro?
Beep, bop, beep, bop.
She's what's her name already?
Assistant.
Maria Hill.
Whatever lah.
Special Agent Maria Hill again.
But you get what I mean lah. So Marshall.
She's basically like Black Widow level.
so with
How crazy is it that Black Widow is fucking fighting with like Thor and
I didn't even know that.
it's crazy. Huh?
I didn't even know that.
Did you know Black Widow is fighting with Thor?
No, I just know Black Widow is Scarlett Johansson.
Bro, Black Widow is just a human operative.
Yeah.
It's like Hawkeye.
Oh, fighting along with Thor. I thought she's like fighting with Thor. I was like, really?
No lah.
Like taka with Thor. That doesn't seem
won't-
like. She just
too
got a few
smart.
like.
She's too smart to taka.
Tasers on her hands.
Ah.
No, so as I was saying lah, it's like Marshall and Lily, right? If you think about it, Marshall is like, okay, when they first start dating, like typical college love story. They grow on. Marshall becomes a lawyer, young lawyer, struggling, blah blah blah, ends up as a judge. Along the way, you think of like Lily wanting to leave him at first, which nothing wrong with that if you want to leave somebody. But I want to leave you because I want to try and be alone. Okay, fine. Goes off on alone, fails at her thing. She went to San Francisco to be an artist. Remember?
Yeah, she wanted to go join the art program. Ma. It's not that she wanted to be alone.
So she didn't want to be with him at the
She
same
wants
time.
to be a strong career woman.
Sure, but don't try to twist this. No, but so she didn't
like
want to
my
be
trap
with
set.
she didn't want to be with him at the same time. So he was quite like heartbroken
Yeah.
because they were going to be engaged or they were engaged.
That's very annoying actually, that series of episodes.
Yeah, it was. So nonetheless, she left him, and then only when she could not make it because it was going badly, she came back to him,
Yeah.
and eventually, okay, fine. Everyone forgot that. Move on a couple of years, and then there were a few more times that happened. But the worst of it was when, so she became like an art curator. I don't know.
I actually don't know what happened to her in the end.
She started working for a rich guy and helped him to buy art, basically. Like she managed his personal
the
art collection.
captain.
The captain, yes, the captain. The guy that, yeah. So he offered her what she considered to be her dream career opportunity.
Yes.
He's going to Rome, follow me to Rome.
Yes.
So she was like, oh, and Marshall was like, okay, fuck it, I'm going to leave my job and go take like a 2-year sabbatical with you, live
Yes.
in Rome. But then he
This
got
was just before he became a judge, right?
Yes, so then he got offered a chance to be a judge, and he, pondered it for a long time before eventually accepting it.
Not a good, what you call that, skill set for a judge to have. By the
That's
way,
true.
Not being able to make this decision.
I never thought of that, but so he pondered that for a long, long time, and eventually he took it, and they had a big fight because he felt that he was standing in the way of her career, but. Putting genders aside, because I know you're going to make this a gender thing.
What the fuck?
But putting genders aside, he has been fighting for this rare opportunity, this exclusive opportunity to be a judge his whole career, right? And he finally has reached the pinnacle of his profession. And he's like, oh, my wife wants to go and buy fucking art in Italy. And she just was like, and he had to... The whole episode was about him deliberating and empathizing with her. And like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. This is so terrible. And at no point was it ever like... this is like, he's going to be a fucking judge. This is for the better good of the community. Instead, it's like, I want to go and live in Italy and eat fucking bolognese every day. I found that to be incredibly selfish. And from then on, I hated Lily. There was one more occasion where Marshall was deciding between going to environmental law or going to corporate law.
And then they wanted to move in the house. They needed the money. So
But if you remember correctly, Lily also had this credit card problem.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell him that eventually he took the well-paying job and she was so thankful.
Yes.
And that is also another like, what the fuck? So is that not a leash? Is that not a useless...
Okay.
Fuck Lily, man.
So I'm gonna push back on your point with two points. Okay, number one. So that whole thing where the first time she left, right?
Yeah.
And then when Barney got her back.
Did he?
Yeah, he was the one that finally like, cannot tahan Marshall being so kasihan, right? So he fucking fly all the way to, was it San Francisco?
Yeah.
And then he gave her a flight ticket, asked her to fly back, ma.
As
So
usual,
what
never
happened.
pay for her own ticket.
So yeah, she got no money, dude. She's a student, and then she came back. What I liked was that it wasn't immediately forgiven. He was like, yeah, you fucking bitch, like you did this to me, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So that was saying. The other thing, okay, this is something that I would have never thought of. Like maybe a while back.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a factor. Okay, who's telling this How I Met Your Mother story?
Josh Radnor.
Ted.
Ted, yeah.
Ted is telling the story.
Ted.
And Ted is better friends with Marshall.
Dude.
It's true.
Yeah, not like that, bro.
It's true. Think about it. The best case study for this show is this other movie called 500 Days of Summer. Do you remember 500 Days of Summer?
Yes.
Do you remember how it's JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yes.
and Zooey Deschanel? Yeah. So you remember
Fuck
how
Zooey Deschanel on this show, man.
See,
Yeah.
it's because he's telling the story. But if you actually look at what happens, he's actually super fucked up also, because he only wants her because of this vision of her that he had in his brain. And because he's telling the story,
It's romantic.
it makes you feel like she's a bitch. But if you see the things she says in the brief moments where he's like, recounting the story, like she's like, oh, I never wanted a serious relationship, I don't see this with you. But then he pressured her into that relationship, right? And then if you think about that, you're like, oh yeah, this is his story because this is how he sees the events, So the facts are only somewhere in between, right? So my theory for this, obviously, this is a theory that I just literally just thought up because fucking big brain.
Yes.
That's why it's forehead, it's for the extra brain.
5 head, right?
Yeah. It's because we are also hearing it from Ted's perspective. And Ted has
Ted is
always
a man.
been. He's always been Marshall. Yeah, sure. He's always been, Marshall's best friend.
But for that final one where it was a big problem for, I think objectively speaking, both of them really wanted these career opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Let's take away gender. If I were in that situation, my partner, right?
What would you do?
So I would honestly look at a lot of factors, right? I think that the most simple way to look at it would be like, how long have you been going for this opportunity? Mm-hmm. And how rare would this opportunity be? Mm-hmm. So I would honestly think in that scenario, getting called up to be a judge, right, is something that you may never experience in your lifetime, and you may never experience again. And going to Italy to work, and it's not as much as the show portrayed it as like the dream. She was not going there to be the museum curator in Rome or something like that. She was going there to be doing the same job. Just so happens her boss is moving there. So I feel like other than the opportunity to live in Rome, it was not much. It's not like, I don't know why she considered it to be her dream career opportunity.
Well, I mean, Rome has more art, more culture.
It's true. So I'm not saying like, fuck that job opportunity, but I'm saying compared to the gravity of what Marshall was being offered, which was to be a judge in a career that he had been fighting for his whole life since college, compared to her kindergarten teacher, wanted to be an artist, ended up failed at that, so go and help people buy art. Then not even like work for a museum or work for some sort of like think, I go work for 有錢人.
Bro, museum no money one lah, bro.
But you get what I'm trying to say lah.
No, yeah, but can you imagine? Do you think an opportunity like that will come by for her again?
To live in Rome and to experience art in Rome?
To work for this guy buying art in Rome.
To work for another guy?
Another rich guy who's willing to fly this random art teacher out.
Possibly.
And that will never happen again for Marshall.
But think about how long
Marshall
she has been working towards that. I think at that point she had only been working for that in Agak as a show after all. Few years she had been in that line of work. Marshall had been his whole life, all his debt, all their finances all geared towards this. It's not about his gender. I would say I'm very open about this, right? If my wife earns more than me, she might work at different points of her career. We have earned more than each other. I have no qualms about prioritizing. We've always talked about this in the future. Which person do we prioritize if let's say have to go overseas, or one person has to take a step back in their career, take care of children, take care of parents, whatever. I always say if you're earning more and your potential is higher, I will step back. I don't have a problem with that. It's about looking at yourself as a partnership and looking at...
Spoken like a true corporate person.
No. What? But
if you were doing something that you were really passionate about, that you loved, it's not about the length, it's about how far you've gone into it.
True lah, true.
If you really love something and somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna move here, come with me, give up everything that you love, that you can only do here, it's difficult. It's the same Marshall problem, right?
Yeah, but does Lily love being an art curator more, or does Marshall love being in the law more?
I don't know.
I don't know about love, but Marshall has clearly backed it up with more. That one is objective.
That you've heard from.
I mean, that much we know lah. Yeah. To be fair, actually he has gambled his whole life into law lah. Yeah. She has not ma. She was a teacher ma.
She was a teacher. She was a what? She was always an.
No, she was a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, but she did art.
I think she studied or minor in art or something.
Even in college.
Then she became a teacher.
Remember the New Dart?
Oh yeah.
That was in college. Yeah, so she was always in art. The same time as Marshall. What the fuck you talking about, man?
Anyways, I guess we'll agree to disagree. Because
your Jenga, your tower, your ivory tower.
This is a fictional discussion. But I'm on Marshall's side about it. And at the end of the day, Marshall gave it up for her.
Yeah,
and I
he
always
forgot
felt
Sarah
that
Marshall.
I always felt that Marshall sacrificed more for Lily than Lily did for him. But I will admit that what you said about Ted being the
It's
storyteller.
something to consider, right?
But if this was the facts, Marshall has given more to her than she has given him, and he has never wavered to her, and she has wavered quite a number of times on him. That has been the sad part. He also brought her and her family back together. At least from what we see. Let's not argue about who told the story.
It's the game.
Yeah, the
father,
weird dad, right?
Yeah,
Even though he knows he's an asshole, blah, 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 but he knew that like at the end of the day, like
Marshall's family also kind of like.
But she was causing a lot of issues with him and his dad. Like she didn't like it that his dad was so close, which is irritating, I guess, for her. But at the end of the day, this was Marshall's best friend. Blah blah blah.
But yeah, I have been I have that. I do get that sense that she's also like more flighty in that sense. You know, she's like not so
convicted?
all in, as Marshall. I do get that sense, yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
all about art or whatever. Speaking of art,
you
know nowadays, you know how consumer technology has gotten like.
You know how consumer technology.
So consumer
that's how
technology
you for a banger.
Consumer technology has
Segue
become
already.
so boring nowadays, right? And one of the few, and I'm like a huge tech head, right? I'm sure it's tech head a word.
Tech hit.
I'm like a huge nerd when it comes to tech, and so are you, obviously. And one of the few areas that still retain a bit of interest for me has been like mechanical keyboards, because there's still that overlap between like technology.
Says the guy who bought a Keychron.
Yeah, so I recently.
That's like saying I love painting. What's your favorite color? White.
No. Do you have a mechanical keyboard?
That's unfair to white.
Do you have a mechanical keyboard?
Yes, I have several. I've had several.
How many?
Right now I have 3 that I'm confident works.
Yeah.
But I've had like 1 or 2 more that I've owned or that I've used. I've used even more, obviously. Like freaking last time I used to review keyboards and stuff also.
Really?
Yeah.
How come I never got to review any keyboards when we ever worked
Why
together?
would I let you review the thing that I want to review? Here's this delicious food.
What keyboards?
I'm not gonna let you eat it.
What keyboards do you review?
They were mostly like clicky switches, like affordable keyboards. They were not like those expensive, super high end.
China one,
China.
like Ajax.
I don't even know what brand it is, to be honest. I don't even know what brand it is.
But actually, the whole mechanical keyboard
But
movement.
also Logitech. Logitech stuff. They had What the fuck's wrong with Logitech? Dude, they make the best gaming mouse.
Yeah.
The
Not against Logitech.
G502 Proteus Spectrum.
They make the best productivity mice as well, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not Logitech. Logitech mechanical keyboards.
No, you said Logitech.
I meant in the context of Mac keyboards.
Incorrect also, because Logitech mechanical keyboards have the best volume wheel.
Have you tried my volume wheel?
E-
So I recently got this.
you want me to turn your knob?
I've got. I recently got this
Yeah,
new.
in case this wasn't clear, Nick recently bought a mechanical keyboard.
So the story goes, I've always liked mechanical keyboards, but I've never had like a custom
Why did you
mechanical
buy
keyboard.
a Keychron?
So
We're never getting a Keychron sponsor.
So this is it. Keychron sponsors like MKVHD like Keychron ain't sponsoring us.
Who's that?
Marcus Brownlee.
Marcus Brownlee.
Marquez. I had a 1 or 2 mechanical keyboards back then, right? But back then it wasn't like a popular, enthusiast, artistic kind of thing. They were like gamer for gamers. Like you wanted to be loud, like, and they were from like Chinese brands and stuff, but they were not very aesthetic. Then I wanted to get into the mechanical keyboard world, and I saw a lot of videos about Keychron, right? So Keychron got really well known because firstly they sponsor a lot of our American, European YouTubers, Marquez Brownlee being one of them.
They're like the Herschel supply of keyboards.
Yeah. So
Right.
and they marketed themselves as like this is Mac ready, but actually all the keyboards kind of like support Mac to an extent. And in fact, I use my Keychron or any keyboard with a Mac. I use it in Windows layout because I'm so used to using Windows keyboards. I'm so used
Wait,
to.
what does that mean?
I think the Windows or like what would be the command and alternate keys are just
Also, you swap them lah.
I don't swap them. I just remember because I also use Windows. You see, so I don't want to keep switching.
So that means your command key is where the Windows control key
Something
is.
like that. I can't remember.
Then
I do
where's
it by
the Mac control key?
It's where the alternate lah, the inverse.
But then where's your option key?
I can't remember, but I do
Because
it by
Mac
muscle
has
memory.
that one extra button, right?
Yes,
They have
yes.
option, command, and control.
I think it's on the other side. I can't remember, but I do it by muscle memory.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Yes.
That's
so
cool.
on Keychron, there's actually a mode to switch, and a lot of the new keyboards have modes to switch as well.
Yeah.
So the reason why I got a Keychron is because I wanted to get into this mechanical keyboard hobby or whatever. But when I looked at, I remember enthusiast boards and things like that, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because these are all, like the whole mechanical keyboard industry, or the majority of the enthusiast industry is like from China. Like all the boards are from China, a lot of the switches are from China, almost everything's from
What era
China.
are you talking about now?
Now? Past few
now.
years? Now.
Okay.
Like the enthusiast stuff, right? A lot of the boards, even all these GMMK Pros and stuff, they're from Chinese companies, right? And these are like the premium 1,000 ringgit base and casing and stuff like that. So when I got into it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Then they were like switches. At first, all I knew was like red is linear, brown is tactile, and blue is clicky, right? And I was like, orange, yellow, grey,
Milky
yeah. So I was like, what is going on? And when the more I looked into it, the more difficult it became. And then I asked friends, and they said, you can engage a blacksmith. They used to call it blacksmiths.
Who?
I have a friend
Who the fuck calls a mechanical keyboard builder a blacksmith?
so this guy apparently,
That's like
this
so
was a few years, maybe
douchey,
2-3 years ago. So he was a blacksmith, and he said that.
Name yourself in the comments.
So apparently they were called blacksmiths, and they were the guys that, I don't know if they were just the builders, but they're the guys you pay to like lube your switches and stuff. So I was like, what is going on? Like, what is this thing? And this sounds super sketchy. Talked to someone on Telegram, and he's probably some university student somewhere. So I was like, where is the most accessible road for me to get into mechanical keyboards that are not like obviously gamer mechanical keyboards, like Logitech mechanical
You don't like
keyboards?
Armageddon? No. Like, what the fuck? It's so rude, man.
Yeah. So how else would I get into this world? Keychrons. MKBHD talked about them. You understood them a bit more. They still have that look.
Nick is like I don't know. See, oh my god, this is a community reference. Nick
Okay.
is a level 7 susceptible.
What the fuck's that mean?
If you watch Community, you'll know. There's
So-
this one episode where basically Subway became a person.
Okay.
So the person his name is Subway, and then at the end of the episode, he stopped being Subway because he wanted to date Britta, and then they dated, and then they broke up, and then he disappeared, and then he came back later as Honda,
Dude, this is all like.
and then, dude, how can you not like Community, man?
I never
Like,
liked
what the
it.
fuck?
I gave
What
it
about
like-
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Okay, not bad. But not
Not
loving
bad.
it. I don't love it. I watched like 3
So what's your
seasons.
wait, I don't think we ever answered the question. What was your favorite sitcom again?
Okay, if I had to pick one, there was this really old show called Frasier, but with live track lah. But Frasier was really, really good. Kelsey Grammer.
All right, fine.
Frasier was really like back in the day. It was just purely sitcom, no character development. Like no one cares. It's just pure. It's one of the
Maybe
shows.
something that our young TikTok audience can
They
understand.
have never fucking heard of Frasier. In fact, even we are like at the youngest end of Frasier already.
I never watched it.
You should give it a go. To be honest, it's genuinely good comedy.
Laugh track.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like, but it's a different format lah. You know what I mean? And you actually laugh along with the laugh track this time. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
that's just because it's programming. Oh my god, this is you again. You know, when I studied media, right? You know how I say my journalism?
Yeah.
When I studied media growing up, right? There's this one theory called the magic bullet theory, okay? And the way my lecturer used to describe it is magic bullet theory is actually I can't even reach that level of Chinese accent. Magic bullet theory means the message that you see is a magic bullet like that. You go bam, But basically what it means is that the message is like it's so good that the moment you see it, you immediately are convinced already. That's you. So you hear a laugh track.
No.
You see MKBHD saying, this keyboard is good. Oh my!
But
MKBHD!
when it came to keyboards, like if you were totally new to it, imagine that you wanted to really look into it and you didn't want to get into the whole like building yourself, right? You just wanted to get a mechanical keyboard. Keychron is something that made it accessible to a lot of people, and it was fairly affordable, about 360 ringgit, I think, for their boards. Back then, when I look online, people talking about GMMK Pros, whatever, they were all like 600, 700, 800 ringgit.
360 in here.
Yeah.
So cheap one.
Yeah. all in.
Okay.
And they were like Gateron switches. Gateron is like supposed to be more reputable at that time.
Correct.
So and they still look good. They look good, to be fair. They look decent lah. You know?
I don't. They're not. I wouldn't say they're bad boards, but they're just so basic.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
My
I agree.
God.
So that's why recently, I really want to give
It's like people buying OnePlus phone nowadays because I'm cool. Fuck off.
But
lah.
I guess
That
now.
being said, I want to buy the OnePlus X Keychron keyboard. for the only reason that the volume knob is transparent.
But you can just get a normal board and get like a transparent knob and put it on. It's not like
but
an
then I have to go and find it. You know what I mean?
Just go to
See, like, the
MKB.
price is good. Here we go.
So what's really cool is that, of course, before that, as I was getting into it, the only kind of stores that you can get Mac keyboards from were like Instagram stores. And at that time, I was like, a bit like don't really understand how it works. Now there are like, I think, 2 main physical stores. I think there are more, but there's one called Mecca in Sunway. Then there's another one called MKB. MKB is a really big name in the keyboard community. So
really big is kind of pushing it.
I mean, they're one of the older guys around now on Instagram and stuff like that, right? So I went by to the store in SS15 with my wife to build her a keyboard or to commission a build for her, right? And we did one up for like 370 ringgit, I think. Really got a lot of good help from them. I think basically MKB is run by 3 brothers who used to be working in corporate and then they quit their jobs.
Is it
No,
like,
it's not Mark, Kanan and Bob. I think MKB stands for mechanical keyboard. But fantastic
that's
name.
so fucking-
Nonetheless, so MKB
it's
has
Mark, Keanu, and Bob.
no. They actually have their names are not there. I went to look into it because they were covered by an online magazine called Vulcan Post.
Online magazine. What's
I don't know what to call them, lah. Right? Like basically, they were covered in the media by this site called
old, man. You're so
Vulcan
old.
Post.
You're
Vulcan
just
Post.
so old.
And they're 3 brothers, lah, and they are not Mark, Kanan, and Bob, lah. So. So I commissioned the bill for her, and it cost us about 363, which is roughly about Keychron's price. We got the exact keycap she wanted, the exact switches she wanted, the exact board she wanted, and I think it's a 65%. And I was so in love with the place. I was so in love with how easy it was to build one. And she got a fully custom keyboard done without having to delve into the world of Discord and things like that. By just walking into a store. And it's not like she got overcharged either. The next day I went back and ordered myself one. So this is a 75%. It's
hold
so
it up
nice.
for the ladies and gentlemen.
It's so nice. Maybe you can crop me when
For
you're
the
late.
lady and gentlemen.
So I make sure I got one with a nice knob. I think mine was about 560
Kind of a
ringgit.
small knob there.
No, this one is really high.
My knob is bigger.
Your knob is short and brittle. Plastic.
Hey, they say girth is more important, okay?
This one also has
easier to
thicker
grip.
girth than yours.
Look at the girth. See,
too
your
short,
knob
lah.
is so small.
So Rory also got his keyboard from MKB when they weren't a physical store yet, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they had a physical store yet.
So maybe you can let us know which keyboard sounds nicer. Pretty sure it's mine. So this is yours?
You press properly lah.
Shh. This is mine.
This is where the...
You already know mine sounds way nicer.
Shh. Yours sounds like it's typing on a wet tissue paper.
No. So what's interesting with mechanical keyboards is that you can actually do a lot to alter the sound. So have you done anything with your keyboard?
Yeah, I've typed a lot of things on it.
No lah. Have you done any mods on it?
No lah, why would I want to mod it? You think I got a lot of time, huh? Between shooting this show and taking naps
And
I don't
working.
have time, bro. And working.
I actually got my wife to mod my Keychron previously.
You
right?
got your wife to
I
mod
asked her
your
to try it out because she's a lot better with like arts and crafts and stuff like that.
Oh my god, she's Lily.
Yeah. Dude, we do say that, man. And plus, I'm like a lot taller than her as well. So it's like, hey.
So not that much taller than her. Come
She's
on.
5 foot. She's actually 5 feet. Yeah, 5'9". So it's, I mean, maybe not like Marshall and Lily, but it's quite significant.
shit.
Lah. Like 9-10 inches taller than her, yeah.
I don't remember her being that short.
She is like, you haven't met her in a while. So,
In a while.
so you can actually do a lot of mods. So what people do is they take out each switch, they take them apart, and then they use a little brush and loop them up. So that sounds like lube. I thought lube is for your cock, but no, they actually lube it to make it like smoother, to make it sound better, and then they put it back together and put it in, right? A second mod that people like to do is they put in foam underneath the PCB, so they actually pry open the whole thing. They put a little bit of foam, and then the third one I think is a tape mod, where they open it and put tape all around the edges and around to dampen the sound. And if you can do it yourself, then it becomes very much of a hobby. And I always wanted to get into that, but the only way to get into that is to pay money and order it from Taobao. But you've never done anything like that before.
No, I mean, I always think of... No, you know what's really funny for me to hear is you explaining all of these things to me as if I haven't already known about all of this for years.
I mean...
This is like, you know what I mean? It's
so
like this
it's for
guy
the benefit
is like,
of all of our viewers.
Oh yeah. No, so I like the idea, but I'm not like you. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm not gonna pay someone to do it or ask my wife to do it.
Do you? Then you also you buy?
Yeah, but I can't be bothered to
No. So I would
to do it myself. It sounds cool. I like the whole artistry thing. But the moment I come back from work, I'm just like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna use it. You know.
That's why I pay someone to do it. No, actually, to be fair, I wouldn't make the effort to go out of my way to pay someone to do it. But it's more like when I was building it, I said how much to add the mods. He said 50 ringgit. I was like, okay lah.
You believe he actually did it?
Yeah, you can tell. To be honest. There's a reason why it sounds so damp and stuff. It's because of like the foam. Yeah. To be fair, it's quite cynical because I tried one without it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with similar switches. So yeah, it makes a bit difference. But it's like, again, these are things that none of us will have access to if not for the stores like MKB. So if, to our huge audience out there.
All 16 of them.
It's really cool to also walk into a store and know that somebody has started a business in the tech industry that isn't just about profit margins. It's like, nowadays you go into like all IT, it's like this huge conglomerate, or you go into the Laoya, people are like, you're just trying to get the best price. There's no longer that joy of walking into a toy store. When you walk into MKB, or I assume other stores like them, you get that feeling of like a kid walking into a toy shop. You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you went to Laoya Plaza?
Laoya, no, because I go to Digital Mall, nearer lah. Let's jam.
Okay, but did you grow up going to Laoya?
Dude. I hate it, no.
Did you go to PC Fair when you were young?
PC Fair, yes. That was hell. That was awful.
You did? What the fuck?
Dude,
man?
it's all people.
Okay, so...
There's more people than computers, It was like nasty. Like,
but wasn't it a joy? What a fucking loser. So,
what the fuck? Just because other people don't feel the same nonsense that you feel.
When I grew up, I used to go to Laoyat, and I used to go to
your generation lah.
Fuck off, we're the same age. So when I grew up, I went to Laoyat on and off with my dad, and I used to go to PC Fair with him too. And part of the joy of going to Laoyat and PC Fair was going there and like, let's say you need a laptop, or you need something, you need a hard disk. And you go to Laoya or PC Fair, you don't know exactly what laptop you're going to come home with. Back in those days, I'm talking about maybe 06, 07, maybe 2010, up to 2010. You don't know exactly what you're going to come back with. It's not like today. You go to Digital Mall, you know you're going to floor number 4, store number 5, because you've already messaged him on Instagram, or you've messaged him on Shopee sometimes, and you know that online price is 5255. In-store price is 5355. And everything is online. There's no joy in like shopping,
I don't know, dude. Because the last time I went to Digital Mall was to get quotations for my girlfriend's PC. So it was the exact same experience that I had when I was building mine, which is you go to the shop, hey, I have this amount of money. What can you give me?
Okay, maybe for desktop rigs.
And then it's the same kind of thing lah.
Maybe for
I'm like
desktop
looking
rigs.
at that. I'm like, and then arguing with them. Hey, give me better price on this one. Hey, this one can change. Hey, I don't need this. What the fuck you giving me an i9 and then a fucking 1060? Like, bro, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, for me, that experience has always been the same. If you want to say walking in like a kid in a toy shop, right? That would be, maybe it's because I have been like exposed to like big trade shows, you know what I mean? Like CES, like freaking MWC. Like these are the ones where you go in like, whoa, everything is
but
like
that's not stuff that
crazy.
you're actually buying there though, right? MWC and
when
stuff.
you're a kid going to a toy store, you go buy anything, man? When I go Toys R Us last time, I just walk around only.
I mean, it's more about...
And then after that, I go to the Shell station and pick up my Hot Wheels. Because my dad pump petrol.
Oh, can get for free, yeah?
Yeah, bro. In fact, we went there so often, right, that towards the latter half of it before they cancelled the whole thing, the guy even like, hey, come. Then we go back to behind the counter, right? Buka the cardboard boxes inside, just fucking full of
Then you choose one,
Then you just choose whatever one you want, lah. That's so cool, man.
I think
Like,
when I mean going to a toy store, it's this gripe that I have with like shopping nowadays. So maybe don't talk about like MWC or like whatever lah, any kind of like trade shows, right? Which is more like concepts and cutting edge technology. And I guess that is like a toy store.
Exactly.
That goes I agree with that. But I guess what I mean is like when I was younger, going into like Lau Yat or even going to Digital Mall, it's like I'm going to look around. Oh, look, that's a really cool laptop. I haven't seen that before.
Leng Zai.
Laptop, but that sort of thing. But there's a lot of like really cool stuff, and I'll go and look at like, oh, look, that's PS4, that's a PS3. I hope I can buy one day, that sort of thing. But nowadays, when I mean Lau Yat, I went to Lau Yat to buy a laptop once, and I was like, oh, this is the Legion 5, 15, 6 or whatever. And I Google online and I say, oh, it's cheaper on Shopee. How much that versus Lazada? It becomes a very like business kind of decision for me, and I no longer have this joy of like negotiating with the guy because I already know.
You enjoy that?
I do.
What the fuck?
I do. It's like
I hate it,
the
man.
shopping experience for me. Like if I talk to the guy, I'm like, I want to like now. If let's say he quotes me a certain price,
In Cantonese. No
lah. English.
Okay.
But it's like Malay sometimes.
He give you the text. He give you the white people text video.
No. But the thing is like when I talk to them now, it's like I already know whether his quoted price is actually his actual price or not. Based on like in general, roughly you know he can't budge that much. You know what I mean?
I hate that.
I
hate that whole like. Leng Zai, I hate that. Like, just fucking leave me alone, man.
Okay, I don't like the Leng Zai part.
I love just going online, finding a good deal, and pressing add to cart, and then it arrives at your doorstep.
I don't enjoy that.
Like Christmas. It's like, oh, what did I buy? And then sometimes, you buy too many things because, and then it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I ordered something. And you're like, oh, it's my new monitor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's like so good. Like, I cannot tahan. I'm so happy I don't have to fucking rub shoulders with sweaty, annoying adults, like trying to get every penny. Huh?
You're one of those sweaty, annoying adults now, dude.
No, because I shop from home. So I don't like that. Like, I love just being able to buy stuff online. Like, okay, like sometimes it's frustrating because you're messaging them and then they don't reply and it's like very annoying. But
you have to wait.
I'm messaging them at 3 a.m. But that's the difference. I can buy things at 3 a.m. It's so good.
Pros and cons.
It's like, and then you have all the options. You immediately know like that's the price or like that's the price and with the voucher, whatever. You don't have to be like, is this guy like talking shit? Like,
you know what I mean? You don't get cheated.
You don't have that bullshit, that dance that you have to do at like fucking flea markets or whatever. You just go. This is it. Do you want to buy it or not? That's why when I built my PC, I went to get like quotes, right? Oh, they're fucking expensive, dude. And then you can tell they look at you, they're like, oh, this fucker confirm got money, man. Let me charge him higher a bit. Or like, confirm no money, man. I give him shit specs, lah. Maybe he will go away. Fucking, I just went on Gem 5. Gem 5, shout out. A moment of silence.
What the hell is Gem 5?
Bro, it's the best website. Every month they give you like 200-300 ringgit voucher, man.
Oh,
so I just bought my PC over a few months. It was great.
This was when we were working together, right? I remember you telling me.
Before that.
You stored me about this.
Just before that. So I did the research and then I went to check online. I did give your favorite physical shots a chance. It was shit. It was a rubbish. They were giving me garbage parts.
But so just to clarify lah, I mean I think overall objectively, digital shopping is better than physical shopping.
That's it. Game, set, match.
I agree.
End the point.
I'm just saying what I miss is walking into a store and
like
feeling like
wonder, right?
Like, oh, that's cool. I want to go play with it. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to negotiate. Maybe the negotiating thing is like just my own weird thing.
Yeah,
maybe it's a childhood thing with my dad. I don't know, right? But yeah, it could be.
You had that bonding moment with your dad. I think that's the memories we had along the way.
So I guess for me, it's more that like I miss going into a store and just wanting to play with the stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So mechanical keyboards.
Yeah.
If you go into MKB store, let's say I think this model is called James Donkey, whatever the fuck that is.
I think that is what they call the people who buy this model.
So this is called a James Donkey. So I can look at other James Donkeys and still be like, wow, I want to play.
Stop saying James.
I want to try this James Donkey. Because this one has like a different keycap set. This one has different switches. This one got foam. This one don't have different colors. Like all toys and like I think it's really good to see business owners, and they're quite young as well, I think, to be working at like businesses that bring something to the tech community, that stuff that they're passionate about. Going into all IT, like all IT fucking sucks.
No,
bro.
all IT is a low benchmark.
All
lah.
IT
Nowadays is
fucking
garbage
sucks,
already.
yeah.
It used to be actually pretty decent.
Yes.
It used to be like you felt like a little bit more, but it was never to the point where it's like super enthusiast, like a jar band or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, cool. It was a smallish shop that had a lot of options. Yeah, no, I agree in the sense that I didn't go to Mecca or MKB. I went to another one. I can't remember what's the name of that shop already. But it was this shop near one city there. And that was where I bought my first upgrades for my PC in like 5-6 years.
What did you buy?
I got a new motherboard and a Ryzen 5.
But they also do Mac keyboards?
Yeah, so they have two shop lots. So one side was all the PC components. So then the guy actually it's pretty cool because you know how when they're like, give me a quote, right? And then they take out a piece of paper in a fucking illegible handwriting. You're like, is that a 5 or a 7? The fuck is that shit? This guy just went, then he flipped the monitor over, and then you get to see everything. Then you want, then he print out a receipt for you. Here you go, keep it. That was like really cool. And then they were like very frank with you. Like I like when people are very frank with you.
Yeah, me too.
They're just like, oh no, you don't want that lah. Actually, if you buy this one, right, it's a little bit more, but a little more performance. Or like, actually, I would just save the money and buy this one. Like, what are you doing? Like, I like that kind of conversation. I don't like the kind that's like you feel like they're trying to get every penny out of you. Not all of them are, but especially the laoyat ones.
Yeah.
And then the worst part is when you go to one shop, you're like, hey, this one how much? 500. Then you go to the next shop, this one how much? Wait, then you go back to the previous shop and be like, hey, this one how much? Then you come back, 500. Fuck off lah. Like that's the bullshit. Because at the end of the day, like 10 shops there, right? They're all under one same guy. Anyway, back to the story. So I was at that place there, and then it does have that candy shop vibe because like everything's super well lit. There's so many different designs and styles out, and then they're like jars full of switches and stuff, and you can just see everything. Like that's cool. So that's sort of like an experience that you won't get buying online. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially something as tactile as a keyboard, right? Like you won't be able to feel that. Like I bought this online. Would I have made the same decisions if I bought it in store? Probably not, because I hate these keycaps.
You probably might have gone for another Switch.
They look nice, but they fucking like, they're so cheap. I cannot tahan. But
you got these on a bundle set. And you know what they say about bundle sets? Like it's always going to be what they're trying to get rid of. To be fair.
But that's why it's cheap lah. So, but overall, it's still an okay keyboard. But yeah, I mean, you have that tactile experience. Like you get to feel the metal cases with the stainless steel backplate.
Hey, damn expensive, bro.
Dude,
Aluminium
the stainless
cases.
steel backplate, bro.
Woo. It will go up to like 1,000 plus for a keyboard. I really feel like I overpaid for this keyboard.
No, like if you want a decent like premium one, right? You're looking at 2.5k, dude.
That's crazy lah.
Easy. 2.5k ringgit is nothing, bro. You know how much is Tfue? What's the guy's name? Tfue. He's a Fortnite player lah.
I don't know Fortnite.
His keyboard was 2,500 oozed.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Was it like a custom build?
Of course lah.
Was it fucking made
By
out of gold or
Teha
what?
types, bro. You know who's Teha types or not? See, this one is Tourist.
Who is that?
He's like he's one of the early people who really popularized building mechanical keyboards. Tearing the switches apart, lubing them.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. He made his whole career off of like live streams where he does these things. So it's great. So I mean, yeah, the thing is, but I feel like now it's so. For me, I like it when it's small and niche.
As usual lah, edgelord.
I like it when that's not what edgelord means, dumb fuck. I like it. It doesn't mean you're on the bleeding edge. That's the wrong edge.
What is the exact? I know it's not exactly that, but what is the exact definition of edgelord?
Go and Google. But yeah, I like it when it's more niche. When
Say
it's
something
like
to edgy.
not where everybody. No, it's. I think it's a topic that we cannot touch on this show.
Yeah, see? Edgelords act like contrarians in the hope that everyone will admire them as rebels. That's you, bro.
It's a contrarian. I'm not a contrarian.
A person who affects a provocative
You're
or,
a contrarian.
or extreme persona, especially online, typically used of a man.
Typically, how dare they? How dare they? Girls can be edgelords too. Okay. No, what was I talking about?
Edgelord. I'm correct.
So
Edgelord.
no, I liked it when it's more niche because it was like, a very unique. You allergic to good opinions,
I
is
don't
it?
know. I'm allergic to bullshit. I'm allergic to bullshit.
No, so the thing about it now is like everybody is like, oh, everyone and their grandma has a custom mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, true.
But the good thing about that is that it's cheap now.
My
It's
wife has one now,
I can buy one now. You know, yeah. Like, can you imagine the day when my girlfriend was like, hey, talking to me about mechanical keyboards, like she's the expert. I'm like, bitch, I was there before you knew.
Did
what
she
the
actually
fuck
talk
they
to you
were.
about it?
Huh? Yeah. Fucking bitch.
Does she have one too?
I still love you. Huh?
Does she watch this? Has she watched this?
I don't think so. She never watches anything that I do. You know who's her favorite? Zamira, bro.
What the fuck?
Zamira is her favorite. Okay?
Come on.
Fucking, I cannot.
That's
believe
cool.
it.
That's cool. At least you can trust her opinion.
Yeah,
though.
lah. I mean, you know, sometimes even if she has bad opinions, I still have to date her. So, and then. Yeah, Zamira's never coming on our show. Yeah, so then now it's like you see all these influencers like fucking taking advantage of like people, you know, they're like, oh, I'm really into what's okay, I don't name and shame because I don't really know them. I just get annoyed. But yeah, so it's like whenever I see this, it's sort of like, you know, the whole thing where if you like a band, like a band that's not very famous, and then suddenly everybody likes the band, you're like, what the fuck?
But if not, the reality is that if it didn't adopt or at least break into the mainstream a little bit, eventually there's a lot that would not happen.
Yeah.
Like you won't get this selection of like keycaps, switches. Maybe there won't be so many group buys for specific types of boards. Like all these cheap keyboards now, we have all kinds of options now, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
because
you can go
everyone
to a
wants.
store and buy it.
Yeah,
Last time it's like fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good, but I can still hate it. That's life.
Are you gonna buy a new one?
Huh?
Are you gonna buy a new one?
No lah, bro.
Lame lah, yours too.
What the fuck's wrong with mine?
Not so cool
Yours
as
is
mine.
too big already.
Yeah,
See, this is how you know he's a tourist. He bought a 75%.
No, I play
Jesus
Dota a
Christ.
lot, so I need a 75.
Red flag.
I have a 65.
Wait, I didn't know you were so into samurais, bro. Like, look at that sword. And you...
that was the thing. Yeah, this is called a Bushido keycap set.
Bushido keycap set. Wow, so desu.
So I actually I always looked at this when I was there to build my wife's one and stuff. I was like, oh, like it looks good, but I don't like the Japanese or especially the samurai element because not because it doesn't look good, but because I don't have any connection with it. I feel pretentious to put it on, but it just looked
The word
best.
you're looking for is poser.
Yeah. It's true. But this was like it matched really well with the board colors, with
nice,
the knob.
like,
So I had to get it lah. But it's a bit pretentious for sure. Like there's
I'm glad you went for the cream.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you are the person that's like, oh, black, oh, everything black, silver. Oh, actually, you have a silver car, that's true.
No, black.
Actually, I got a black. Oh.
If not, I get black already.
You got black, already.
In fact, I wouldn't mind wrapping my car in black one day. I don't know. But look,
Yeah, you should.
like
Get
glossy
like a satin black.
Like glossy?
No, satin.
Matte. Satin is in matte, right?
Yeah, matte but like smooth.
It'll be rumpit, I feel.
Rumpit? Where got rumpit?
Look a bit like-
Wrap their motorbike in
Maybe not rumpit, but look a bit like Abeng at a rap cast. Do you think so?
Abeng?
Yeah.
No lah, if you wrap black, not Abeng, bro.
Anyways, I guess...
The fact that you're driving a Toyota is already Abeng enough,
Wait,
really.
a Corolla
and your
Cross, bro.
transparent glasses. Like,
I'm not wearing
bro,
them
come
today,
on,
actually.
man.
But yeah.
Did you ever wear them?
Today?
On the show?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't wear them.
He has a pair of transparent
The less I
glasses.
see of you, the better
with
lah.
transition lenses.
Transition
yeah,
lenses
I wish
look
I
cool.
could take off my glasses. But unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it from us today. Today, we agree on most things.
Yeah, I want to talk about Tesla.
Oh my god, that's so long. That's too long.
Okay,
Maybe
next episode.
Maybe next one. But I guess a big
Was
shout
there
out.
something else that we want to talk about? Football. Can we just briefly touch on the fact that Manchester United lost 7-0?
Yeah, so Man United lost 7-0 to Liverpool recently. Rory isn't much of a football guy,
but I know that.
Yeah, even he knows about it, and they just had a fucking shocking performance, right? I don't have a medium to voice my angst.
Did you know
to this
that
result.
Nick has a football blog? Is it a blog? Can I call it
It's
a
a
blog?
website.
It's a website.
But I lost
It's
the
a
domain
football.
already.
Really? Yeah.
It was called The Armchair Sportsman.
The armchair. Now
Yeah.
he's the couch sportsman.
Yeah. So United lost to Liverpool 7-0 recently, and
And that's like a big rivalry, right?
yeah, United
You know,
Liverpool.
I never understood. Okay, I'm interrupting you, but
Sure,
this is
sure.
because football is boring. And unless you have the interruptions, I will never watch it. Okay, Neymar rolling on the floor. Wow, I tell you, that was funny as fuck. No, so what happened is, okay, so what is Manchester United's nickname?
Red Devils.
Liverpool's nickname?
The Reds, I think.
Manchester's United's song. Isn't there a line that goes, and the Reds go marching?
Yeah, so
are they singing about Liverpool?
No lah, it's just obviously because these are like just anthems from the terraces, right? And these are like just simple
You see
songs.
how I've just shattered the illusion.
Half the
in his
Englishmen are
brain?
drunk at these matches, anyways. To be honest, this
Half?
part. Yeah, exactly. So it's a big rivalry. Like most rivalries are born from geographical proximity, like your neighbours, like Liverpool, Everton, Man United, and Leeds is quite close as well.
Leeds got football team, man.
God, they were big.
I only know the festival.
No, they've won like the league before and Premier League and stuff. I think
the
it was not
fuck?
called the Premier League back then, but they've won the English league.
Whoa.
Yeah, serious league, serious team. Nonetheless, but the United-Liverpool rivalry goes back because these are the two most successful clubs in England. Liverpool has been having quite a bad season this year. United have been having a relatively good season this year, and everybody, including myself.
So what happened?
I don't fucking know. I think they're fatigued. But if you watch the match, it was like an unprofessional display where they let all of the fans down. I am not going to buy another United jersey till next season.
Wait, you're a Man U fan?
I'm a Man United fan, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course. So I
Is
would...
your favorite ice cream flavor vanilla?
Yes.
Oh my god!
And chocolate.
You know how when you create characters, you click default, right? Yeah. There we go.
But I'm a real Man United fan, right? I've been supporting them through all of the bad times. I watched the United match until the end. I've been to Old Trafford. I've watched real matches. I buy the original Adidas or whatever jersey every year. And I'm not going to buy the jersey this year because that 7-0 performance, I'm going to keep my 400 ringgit.
400 ringgit
Yeah.
for the jersey.
So that's not even like the player grey one. The player grey ones are almost a K.
What's the difference?
I think the material. One of it is like just official merchandise. It's like the jersey.
You're just gonna wear it to sleep only, right?
Yeah, so I'm not. But some people like they really want to. And if your money is bigger, then why not? Once a year, 250 USD.
True lah, 1,000 ringgit is nothing.
One a year. I mean, for these like hardcore guys.
That's like what? 10 Starbucks. Yeah,
10 Starbucks.
10 Starbucks.
1,000 ringgit is 10 Starbucks.
Hey, what the fuck?
What the fuck, bro? I think you got 8 MS. You told me.
This is normal maths.
Your mom has got C. Like no, it's like 100 Starbucks. But yeah, so United had a really bad match. I think a lot of the fans were disillusioned because they've been on such an upward trajectory.
Who's famous there now?
United?
Name me one famous player.
Someone
like
that you
Wayne
would know.
Rooney.
No. Wayne Rooney is fucking fat and the
Paul
manager.
Schofield.
Scholes, dude. What the f- Scholes.
Schofield is another guy.
Yeah, Michael Schofield. No, the most famous
Jane
player.
Apps. Oh no, that's a
Marcus
Rocket League
Rashford?
player. Who?
Marcus Rashford?
Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, Ronaldo just left to play in Saudi Arabia.
Where
Marcus
the money's
Rashford?
at? No idea.
David De Gea?
Is Arsene Wenger still there?
No, Arsene Wenger was in Arsenal. That's why it's called Arsenal.
that's why it's Arsenal.
No, it's not. It's
Oh.
not. And I think Bruno Fernandes.
Dude, that's like, isn't that like Bruno
Casemiro?
Mars?
Casemiro?
Huh?
Casemiro?
Who?
So
What? That's no way that's a real person.
No,
Come
it
on.
is.
How do
Casemiro.
you spell that?
Casemiro.
And this is a British person.
No, he's Brazilian.
But they're playing the English Premier League.
No, it's like a global
Import
thing.
lah.
Global thing. No, he's Brazilian from Spain.
Oh, Brazilian from Spain.
From the Spanish league. Like he was playing there for like 10 years before
I
this.
thought Brazilians were from Brazil.
Nonetheless,
Brazil.
step it up,
Vin Diesel.
United, or I'm not going to buy your jersey this year. And honestly, it's been so disheartening to see how United have been as a
They
fan.
don't have star players anymore.
No, it's just because you don't know them. It doesn't mean. But it's because they were fatigued. They
I
need
know
to be.
Mbappe.
Mbappe.
Is he in
He's in France. He plays for
He's
Paris
not
Saint
in
Germain.
Man U? Oh.
He plays for
PSG?
PSG. Yes.
I know because they have an esports team.
Do you know who Neymar is?
Neymar, yeah, the guy who went rolling.
You know who Harry Kane is?
No. Or Harry Kane.
Yeah.
That's the One Direction guy, right?
Anyways, clearly we don't have much to flesh out with the
I think we
football
can have a
topic.
whole episode about this. Dude, let's play. Do you know this footballer?
I think the answer will be no to most of it. But yeah, I mean, if MKB or any other mechanical keyboard producers or distributors want to sponsor another episode,
Fucking shameless plug, man.
let us know because we're up for anything.
Because we use
and-
keyboards all the time on this show.
Okay lah. I think that should be it for us tonight, right? Yeah.
No, okay, just before we wrap up, okay. So you're talking about Man U, Liverpool, right? In F1 terms, what team would they be?
Bit hard to say because F1 teams change all
Is
the
it
time.
Ferrari because they're red?
I think Man United are probably the Ferraris.
So they are always leading and then they lose lah.
No, because they were very dominant, too dominant at one point. Then they went through a really barren spell. Now they are like not dominant but
Okay.
competitive.
Okay.
And
Then
they
Liverpool?
are classically a strong team. Liverpool probably F2 lah.
Wow, that means your Ferrari team lost to an F2.
Yeah,
F2 team.
sure.
Jesus Christ.
Then
7-0.
I guess Man City are
Look at the lap already.
Man City are definitely like Red Bull.
Man City is
The
they spend a lot of money.
the money back team
They got
without any
Christian Horner
history.
or not. Hey, that's one thing I never said, right? Fucking Drive to Survive made Christian Horner and what's
Toto
the
Wolff.
Haas guy?
Gunther Steiner.
Gunther.
Celebrities, man. Gunther is so good, man.
He's so good. I love
Yeah.
his accent also.
Yeah. So I would say, Red Bull's Man City and Arsenal's probably McLaren, but it's really hard to say
Then
already.
Mercedes?
Mercedes?
Ah.
Mercedes is quite a new team, very hard to compare.
Mercedes
Chelsea
is
or
quite a
something.
new team.
Mercedes is
Oh.
quite a new team as before they were McLaren Mercedes. Right? It's the McLaren, they were engine suppliers.
True. Yeah.
If Drive to Survive wants to sponsor us for the next Drive to Survive wants to sponsor us for the next episode, I'm tired already, it's a work day, but anyone lah. Actually, we need more viewers for sponsors.
We are podcasts to prevail.
Oh my god, that's cringy. Yes. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Enough. I don't want to talk already. I see you so many times this week already. Enough.